Do you trust Kirk's side of the tale, or is he just attempting to save face? Drop your opinions in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exclusive updates on all the greatest celebrity drama. And there you have it, one of the most startling scandals to ever hit the love and hip-hop world. Kirk Frost's collapse is unfolding before us. Although Kirk Frost and Rasheeda have had their fair share of ups and downs, anybody saw this approaching. A startling event has set supporters into a frenzy, and internet conjecture is ablaze. According to witnesses, Kirk lost all control and launched a horrific attack that shook Rasheeda. With people close to the couple exposing upsetting information, what began as a furious dispute swiftly descended into something considerably more serious. Reactions abound on social media, and everyone is yearning explanations. This time, did Kirk truly go too far? How did this explosive moment start? And most importantly, how is Rasheeda holding up after this ordeal? Fans are split, some supporting Kirk while others want severe penalties. The couple's past has been turbulent, but this incident might well change everything. As we untangle the whole narrative, what happened behind closed doors, how their closest friends and relatives are responding, what this could mean for Kirk and Rasheeda's future. Stay tuned. Grab your popcorn because this is one scandal that's too wild to ignore. For Kirk Frost and Rasheeda, it all began as another evening. Nevertheless, nobody could have foreseen how rapidly things would spiral out of hand. Witnesses indicate that the pair had been experiencing troubles behind closed doors for weeks. But this time, things took a dark and unexpected turn. Sources close to the couple say that tensions had been building for a time, and on this specific night, it all came to a boiling point. The dispute started over something fairly small, one of those ordinary arguments that couples have, but it escalated swiftly, turning into a full-blown war of words. Rasheeda, usually known for keeping her cool, sought to ease the issue at first. She didn't want things to go out of hand, especially since they were in public. But Kirk? He wasn't having it. His irritation had been boiling beneath the surface for too long, and now it was all bursting out. Eyewitnesses said he was walking back and forth, his voice rising louder with every syllable. Rasheeda, recognizing that things were moving in a terrible path, tried to walk away, but Kirk wasn't done. He blocked her path, his expression filled with wrath as he started his tirade. By this point, people surrounding them had started to notice. Some brought out their phones, documenting the intense discussion, while others muttered in low tones, startled at what they were witnessing. This wasn't simply a usual dispute between a married couple. This was something different. The air was thick with tension, and the expression in Kirk's eyes sent chills down the spines of those watching. Then it occurred. In a moment of sheer wrath, Kirk lashed out. The exact circumstances of what happened next are still being contested, but one thing is clear: Rasheeda was left in shock. A gasp spread through the throng as individuals sought to grasp what they had just seen. Rasheeda fell back, her face a mix of disbelief and hurt. Never in a million years did she expect Kirk would truly cross the line like this. He had always been irresponsible, always been the type to let his emotions get the best of him. But this was different. This was personal. This was something she knew they could never get back from. Someone in the audience instantly screamed out, "Yo, Kirk, what the hell, man?" Others rushed forward, some to comfort Rasheeda, others to confront Kirk. But by then, the harm was done. The cameras were rolling, and within minutes, the film started making rounds on social media. It didn't take long for hashtags like #ProtectRasheeda and #KirkFrostExposed to start trending. People were horrified, disgusted, and called for Kirk to be held accountable. Back at the scene, Rasheeda was still trying to digest everything. Her hands were shaking as she reached for her phone, her breath coming in short, uneven gasps. She needed to get out of there, needed to find a way to escape the mayhem surrounding her. But Kirk? He was still standing there, looking at her, his expression unclear. For a single second, it almost seemed like he regretted what he had done, like he wanted to take it all back. But then, almost as swiftly, that moment gone. His jaw tightened, and without more word, he turned and walked off, disappearing into the night. The problem was far from over, though. Rasheeda's closest pals had already been alerted, and they weren't going to let this slide. Scrappy, one of Kirk's longtime pals, was one of the first to hear about what happened, and he spent no time in calling Kirk personally. The conversation was tight, hostile, and filled with expletives. "What the hell is wrong with you, man? You actually lost your friggin' mind?" Scrappy's voice was filled with disbelief and anger. But Kirk? He wasn't in the mood to discuss. He scarcely even heeded Scrappy's words before hanging up. Meanwhile, back at home, Rasheeda was breaking down. She had isolated herself in her bedroom, away from the outer world, attempting to make sense of what had just transpired. The messages were pouring in, her phone vibrating incessantly with texts from friends, family, and fans alike. Some were offering assistance, others were seeking answers. And then there were the media outlets, already running with the story, already casting Kirk as the villain. But was there more to the story? Some insiders reported that Kirk had been under a lot of pressure lately, coping with financial issues, personal struggles, and a rising sense of anger. Had all of that finally driven him over the edge? Or was this just who he had become, a man who allowed his rage overwhelm him to the point of no return? As Rasheeda sat there, staring at the headlines, she understood something. This wasn't just about one night. This was about everything. The years of treachery, the many times she had forgiven him, the way she had always been expected to hold things together while he did whatever he wanted. And now, it had come to this, a public humiliation, a moment she would never be able to forget. But the fundamental question remained, what was she going to do next? Would she eventually go away for good? Would she press charges? Or would Kirk somehow find a way to spin this, to make it sound like it wasn't as horrible as others were making it out to be? The world was watching, waiting for her next move. And little did she know, the storm was only just beginning. As the night wore on, the chaos surrounding Kirk and Rasheeda's startling incident only increased. Social media had already exploded with emotions, and news outlets wasted no time picking up the story. By midnight, practically every major gossip blog had reported about it, each one adding new dimensions to the controversy. Fans flooded Rasheeda's Instagram with words of support, while Kirk's comment area transformed into a battleground of wrath. But while the world wondered, Rasheeda was in no shape to answer. She had locked herself off from everyone, retiring into her bedroom, attempting to digest what had just transpired. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing, calls from friends, texts from her team, even messages from people she hadn't spoken to in years. But she couldn't bring herself to react. The reality of what had happened was too much to stomach. Meanwhile, Kirk had vanished. After storming off, he had gone utterly silent, avoiding all calls and refusing to speak to anyone. Even his closest pals had no idea where he was. Some thought that he had shut himself up in a hotel someplace, attempting to avoid the criticism. Others said he was planning, figuring out how to spin the problem before it became any worse. Whatever the case, his silence simply made things worse. And then, as if the drama wasn't already at its climax, a fresh twist appeared. An unnamed person, someone claiming to be close to Kirk, contacted out to a big gossip blog with stunning charges. According to them, this wasn't the first time Kirk had lost control like this. It was only the first time it had been caught on camera. The source stated that there had been many incidents in the past, instances where Kirk's temper had flashed in secret, away from the public spotlight. They stated that Rasheeda had covered for him several times, making excuses, pushing things under the rug to protect their image. The discovery sent shockwaves through the internet. Fans were already furious, but this changed everything. Suddenly, people weren't just condemning Kirk for one incident. They were questioning everything about their relationship. Had Rasheeda been suffering in quiet all this time? Was Kirk more dangerous than everyone realized? The speculation grew wilder by the minute. Old clips from Love and Hip Hop resurfaced, instances where Kirk had raised his voice at Rasheeda, scenes where she seemed visibly uncomfortable. People studied every old disagreement, every tense conversation, looking for evidence that this had been building up for years. Some supporters even started a campaign asking that Rasheeda leave Kirk for good, using the hashtag #ForRasheeda. But while the internet was busy fitting the pieces together, Rasheeda was still attempting to figure out what to do next. She had spent years supporting Kirk, standing by him even when he had humiliated her in the past. The infidelity scandals, the betrayals, the relentless disrespect, she had forgiven